We spent quite some time as coaches discussing the next award. Too much time, actually, debating back and forth who should be our boys MVP. And quite honestly, I don't remember which one of us finally said, what are we doing? Like, why are we debating this? So we don't have one MVP on this team, we have two. So our boys, for the first time ever in our school's history, we have co-MVPs, Kenny Minto and Brady McArdle. These two young men are two peas in a pod. I remember, and Coach Toy may remember this, and I'm sure Coach Krongeier does, but these two young men, when they were a little shorter, and they were in the middle school, and I saw them running around the track and thought, those two have a lot of potential. They were young and raw, kind of crazy. But do I really want to try to recruit these two? They're pretty talented, but I don't know. So anyway, we got our hands on them and had some talks over that summer between their 8th grade year and freshman year, and talked about cross country. And Brady had his heart on kicking a ball around on a field. And we talked about cross country and finally made the decision. Talked to Kenny, and it was a little bit less. I didn't have to twist his arm quite as hard, but from that point forward, for the past 4 years, I've been lucky enough to work with two great kids. They've developed into two absolute powerhouses. Not only are they great athletes on this team, but in our league. In our league, we had a unique situation. We decided one day, what are we doing? Let's go for the league title. Let's try to win it again. Kenny came to me one day and said, Coach, I'll run whatever you want. I want to win that league title again. So we talked and decided, is this really that crazy? And I went to the two of them and said, all right, this is the plan, guys. We're going to run a mile first, then we're going to run the 800, then you're going to run the 2 mile, and then you're going to turn around and you're going to run the 4x4, the next event. And both of them said, okay, let's do it. How are we going to do it? What's our strategy going to be? How are we going to win? And at the end of the day, not single-handedly, they had relay team members as well, but they scored 54 points collectively along with their relay members in the league, which was a lot. In our area, they're two of the strongest athletes in our region and in the state. And this weekend, they showed their power even in the Midwest. Kenny led off our 4x800 meter relay team for the state of Michigan and completely blew up the race. Brady kind of scared me a little bit, but ran a tactical race, and he won the open 800. So even in the Midwest, they were two of the strongest athletes in the Midwest. And are off this weekend to nationals in Philadelphia to see how they can hold up nationally. Recently, I've had multiple coaches tell me, thank goodness those two are finally graduating. I won't have to see them anymore. But one of the biggest things about these two young men that I hope a lot of you young men and young ladies have learned, especially our young people, is it was never about them. Even though they had so many individual accomplishments and awards, it was never about the two of them. It was about their teammates. They were extremely humble. They never said, hey, I won. It's about me. It was always about the team as a whole, and it was good job. Good job, Chase. You ran really well. How did you do, Parker, after they finished? They were always recognizing their teammates. It wasn't about the two of them. They've also developed into great leaders. They've been leaders on this team for a number of years, but especially this year as seniors. They had big old finishes in different races. And I guess one of the things that I reflect on, and I think in long term we're going to recognize the accomplishments of these two young men. But when I was at Midwest with these guys, I had the privilege of being one of the coaches on the team. They both did what they did, and I went up to them and said, great job, and we talked about their races. And then all of a sudden, I thought, and Mr. Krongeyer, for one of the first times of his life, was sitting up in the stands watching the meet. But I texted him and I said, we just had 2 kids from our school run 154 in the 800. That's never happened before. It's probably never going to happen again. And it made me realize the strength of these 2 young men and what they've been able to do. So how will we replace them? I'm really not sure. I don't know if that will ever happen, but they've been extremely important components to our team this year and really for their whole careers. So I want to thank you for everything that you've done and what you've given to this program, and I want to wish you the best of luck in the